This is the Rays Postcast, your instant game reaction for the Tampa Bay Rays, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Hello and welcome to the Tampa Bay Rays Postcast, your home for instant Rays reaction every day, all a part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Make sure to like, subscribe, follow wherever you may be watching, whether it's on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and make sure to check out the daily Rays Locked On podcast. They do great stuff over there. They post great insights every day, wherever you get your podcasts, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify. Now, you're probably wondering who I am. My name is Jonathan Shields. I was born and raised in St. Petersburg, Florida, a diehard Rays fan. My family had season tickets growing up. I've been to over 200 Rays games, and I'm super excited to be with you guys for the rest of this season, every single game. And what a game to start off the Rays Postcast era. Then a 10-8 Rays victory to snap a 4-game losing streak. Just like you guys, I'm sure you guys had no hope whatsoever. Just like me. You see Fairbanks come in, you see him give up those 2 runs, you're like, oh, here we go again. And I'm guilty of it. I typed out the whole description for this YouTube episode about how the Rays lose their 5th straight and how the pitching failed them this time. But no, all of a sudden, bottom of the 9th inning. Who else? Jose Caballero, who should be the everyday starting shortstop. We'll get to that a little bit later, sparks the run. And all of a sudden, Chandler Simpson, who got more comfortable with every single at-bat, he doubles. Yandy, when's the last time you saw a Yandy leg out an infield single? Never happens. Ben Wartfett, he produced a big at-bat. And it just stacked up and stacked up and stacked up. And then Brandon Lau, who needs to be the Rays' best hitter, snaps out of a 1-for-15 skid with a big-time 2-run RBI single. And then who else but Jonathan Aranda, who, by the way, got knocked out cold, it looked like, by Ben Wartfett in the middle of the game when they both went for a pop fly. He walks it off, but we cannot understate how impactful Edwin Uceta was in the top of the 10th inning. First and third, nobody out, strikes out Bellinger, strikes out the next guy, gets a fly out. And then you just knew Jonathan Aranda was going to walk that off the very next pitch. So in this one, we're going to talk about that epic comeback, how the Rays' new lineup produces, and even in this loss, and it's good to look at this now, but Shane Baz did struggle in this one, even in a loss. So let's get right into it, and let's start at the beginning of this game, because when you go to the first inning, it's, oh, here we go again. The Yankees get those 2 fluke hits, and all of a sudden, they're up 2-0. We see Shane Baz hit the first batter of the game. You see that Aaron Judge just weak contact single. You get Jazz Chisholm, who's been awful this whole series. He's in a horrendous slump. Again, just hits in the perfect place. And all of a sudden, 33 pitches later, Shane Baz out of the inning, but it's 2-0. And then Grisham hits the home run. It's 3-0. And then Yandy in the 3rd inning, which I thought this was a massive play in the game. He came into this game 2 for 23 with runners in scoring position. And what does he do? He gets a huge RBI single to really get the Rays back into the game. And then that's when you see the Rays start to stack it up. And I really thought this was a game that the Rays needed to take advantage of. This was the Yankees' worst starting pitcher. You got Shane Baz on the mound, who has been fantastic so far this season. And even though he didn't have his best stuff, I'm not overly worried about him. So when you see the Rays losing this game, it's like, man, like this was the one to get. And there's no must wins in April, but man, this felt like a must win when you have the 13 straight games at home and needing these games in order to make up ground in a stacked AL East. You absolutely positively need these games. And the grit that the Rays shown is not something we've seen in a really long time from this team. You got to remember, going into this game, the Rays have scored 3 runs the last 3 games. They lost 2 of the last 3 games, 1-0. So to come out and score 4 runs alone in the 9th inning off Devin Williams, who's arguably a top 5 reliever in baseball, that is just huge. And going to that new lineup producing, I did a demo on one of these yesterday, and I said, when Chandler Simpson got called up, he needs to hit leadoff, and that just bumps everyone down one, and it makes your lineup way deeper. Christopher Morel went into the game yesterday, striking out 10 out of his last 15 plate appearances. I had to double check that number when I found it because I was like, man, that's not right. So I didn't think he was going to be in the lineup. Taylor Walls has the worst batting average for this millennium since 2000 of a player with at least 1,000 at-bats. He couldn't be in the lineup anymore. Danny Jansen had 1 good game, and I'm still predicting him to have a big season and do big things, but he needed a day off. And with this lineup, when you see Cam Meisner hitting 7th with the kind of data he had, I know he didn't get a hit today, but the type of quality at-bats he can give you, him hitting 7th just lengthens out the lineup so much more. And when you have Yandy hitting 2nd and Aranda hitting fifth a lot of the season. And even in the last year, right when you'd get past the top 4 or 5 players in this lineup, you'd be like, man, where are the hits coming from? Like, that's an out, that's an out, that's an out. But now you go down this lineup, you got Cappy hitting 8th. You're like, man, he's always going to put together a good at-bat. And with his speed, he led the AL in stolen bases last year. You know he's going to get on, and you know that he's going to cause havoc. So to see Kevin Cash, who I still think is the best manager in the game, and I've seen a lot of people on Rays Twitter kind of badger him a little bit for the decisions he's made and not playing certain guys on certain days, but he put together the perfect lineup today, and I expect this to be the everyday lineup going forward against a right-handed pitcher, and frankly, it should be against a left-handed pitcher as well, but we know Cash likes to go with the all-righties against the left-handed pitcher, but cannot say enough about how the depth in this lineup produced, especially because I thought the biggest play of the game was Rortvet's 2-run base hit in the 4th inning, outside of obviously the big run in the 9th inning. The 2-run single that Rortvet had kind of just eased everyone a little bit, because right before that, Cabby hits the ground roll double. And I'm like, man, like that's just their luck. Meisner would have scored from first regardless, and that's just the Rays' luck that they can't get a run right there. But what happens? It's Ben Rortvet. And when it was 3-1 and he took a fastball running outside the edge that was in the zone for a strike, I was like, man, he's just really not confident with it. But what does he do? He stays with the pitch, sends it to the other side, and scores 2. Now, I thought that was an underrated point in the game, which was like, okay, the Rays can still win this. And then, of course, when Pete comes in, it's still like, man, like now they're down 4. There's really no shot. And this, just the depth of this lineup now that Simpson provides. And when you can bat Aranda 5th and that type of bat in your 5th spot, Aranda coming into the series led Major League Baseball on average. And if you can bat him 5th, just again, this length of this lineup just goes out so much further. And there's no more easy outs in this lineup when they play this lineup. But we're going to talk about Shane Baz and maybe what he needs to do next. And we're going to talk more about Jonathan Aranda's epic walk-off home run after this ad break. This episode is brought to you by Upwork. Scaling your business requires the right expertise at the right time. With Upwork, you can find specialized freelancers in marketing, development, design, and more. Experts ready to help take your business to the next level. Upwork gives business flexibility by connecting them with top freelance talent across multiple industries, including IT, AI, web development, and marketing. Whether you need extra hands for a project or a long-term partner, Upwork makes hiring simple and affordable. Posting a job is free and simple, and within a day, multiple qualified candidates you will have to choose from. Visit Upwork.com right now and post your job for free. That's UPWORK.com, Upwork.com, to connect with top talent and grow your business today. This episode is also brought to you by Supply House. Get the supplies you need from the site made for skilled trades, Supply House. Whether you're in plumbing, HVAC, or electrical work, Supply House is a reliable way to order products online. Their easy-to-use website is packed with helpful resources in the latest product info to get you to get the job done right. Plus, with a complete inventory of over 200,000 parts from 400 top brands, you'll find exactly what you need delivered fast from coast to coast. Need help with an order? Supply House offers expert support and industry-leading service, so you always talk to a real person. And for trade pros looking for an extra edge, their free Trade Master program offers exclusive perks like a dedicated phone line, free shipping, and discounts on every order. Thousands of skilled professionals are already taking advantage. Now it's your turn. Join the Trade Master program today at supplyhouse.com/TM and start ordering plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies with just a few clicks. Plus, use the promo code SH5 for 5% off your first order. That's supplyhouse.com. Let's talk about Shane Baz, because he did not have his best stuff today. But the fact that he was still able to battle and limit the damage somewhat was very good. Now, for the Rays, they walked 6 Yankee batters. And Shane Baz, right when he hit Ben Rice with the first pitch, you're like, oh no, like he needs to figure this out a little bit. And just the free passes that all of the Rays pitchers gave up, but mostly Rodriguez and Baz through the first 2 innings, you were just like, man, hopefully Shane Baz can come out of this. And he just for the first time this season, this happened a few times last year, he got erratic with the strike zone. We saw a lot of 3-ball counts, and that's why he wasn't able to go very far. He wasn't make it through the third time in the lineup because that pitch count was already over almost at 80 by the time it came to that. And I expect him to bounce back. This was a one-off. Shane Baz was so dominant coming into this game. You expect him to regress a little bit. And this Yankee lineup is so good. But the thing that was frustrating about this Yankee lineup today was how many soft base hits do they have? I counted at least 5. And Aaron Judge had 2 of them. You got the Jazz Chisholm one, and there's a few others sprinkled in there that you're like, man, like this is just not the day for the Rays. But if he can control those walks, his stuff is so good that it's not going to matter how many pitches he has. If he can be in the zone, he'll be virtually unhittable like he was coming into this game. Now, let's get into the turning point.
Time to reveal where the game was won or lost. It's the turning point.
So I'm going to stay away from the Jonathan Aranda home run for now. We'll get to that play itself a little bit later. The turning point in this game was the Brandon Lowe 2-run single. Because coming into that bat, he was 1 for his last 15. He needed a big-time at-bat. It was only his 3rd time seeing Devin Williams, and he produced a big-time at-bat. Again, it wasn't this hard-hit liner of a base hit. It was a little bloop hit, and it was due for the Rays to get one of those. And who better than Brandon Lowe? At the heart of this team, Yandy Diaz and Brandon Lowe hitting 1-2, 1-3, 2-3, 3-4 is the heartbeat of this team. This team, even with talented young players like Junior and Aranda, this team will go as Yandy and Brandon goes. And the fact that both of them, I said it before, when's the last time you saw Yandy leg out a single? Ray's Twitter gets all over him for never legging out singles. And the most important time, your leader, you've got to have a guy legs out that single. And then you have Chandler Simpson scoring from third. So it could be hit right to him and he'll outrun that. And shout out, again, Kevin Cash with the magical touch, pinch running Taylor Walls. And frankly, I think that's the only time Taylor Walls should step on the field until Ha-Seong King comes back. Excuse me. He immediately steals second. And then Brandon Lowe just delivers. Just a massive point in this game. And the play that just sparked life into Steinbrenner. Steinbrenner, we were hearing "Let's go Yankees" chants, and of course it's their spring training field and it's made for them. But it just I cannot emphasize enough how important of a win this was for the Rays. Now let's get into the player of the game.
This is the Locked On Player of the Game.
And how can you not have the player of the game be Jonathan Aranda? Again, I don't think we can get behind how he was almost knocked out cold by Ben Rortvedt in the middle of the game. And he came back, and the play of the game, if the Rays lost, would have been Jazz Chisholm in the bottom of the 5th inning, robbing an 108-mile-per-hour line out from Jonathan Aranda. And the fact that he got back to it, and he got back to the plate, and like I said before, right when you said it got out of the top of the 10th inning, you knew it was over. You knew Jonathan Aranda was going to make it happen. And you knew the Rays were going to win that game. So what Edwin Uceta did is going to kind of be overshadowed in a sense. But what Jonathan Aranda did, I mean, it might just be the shot in the arm this offense needed. Like we talked about the length of the lineup. That's the most important thing. But consistency. And I thought the Rays early in the game were just really, really antsy with at-bats and swinging early. So their first 5 outs were all ground balls. Is because they were swinging early. They started to take more pitches. They started to put the barrel on the ball, and they really, really started to be productive. And Jonathan Aranda got robbed early in the game, came back, made up for it, and the smile on his face when he hit that home run was just so awesome. This team is still so young, so fun to watch. I'll take the Tampa Bay Rays starting rotation, all 7 of them when Shane McClanahan comes back, over any starting staff in baseball. The bullpen has been a little bit up and down, but that's to be expected throughout the course of a season. I thought the guys that came in the later portion of the game, like Mason Montgomery, obviously Edwin Uceta, but Hunter Biggie was awesome today as well. Those guys who came in, just awesome. They won the game for the Rays outside of obviously the hitting, but to get that production from not your top guys, right? Fairbanks, when he's on, he's better than almost any relief pitcher in baseball. When he's off, it can be tough to watch. But seeing Hunter Biggie, who had a tough outing a few games ago, bounce back and give this kind of performance. The second kind of tier of that Rays bullpen was huge in this game at keeping the Yankees at bay. And it was massive for the Rays to get this game because, again, they have these 13 games in a row at home. Later on in the year, because of the weather, they're going to have these 13 in a row on the road. So you need to stack up these wins while the weather is nice in Tampa, St. Pete. We know you guys live here. It rains every day at 4 o'clock. So you know you're going to have rainouts. You know you're going to have those weird situations. So you know it's going to be tough to play those games. So for the Rays to salvage this one, like I said, there's no must-wins in April, but this was as close to a must-win game as you can have in April in the Major League season. Just a massive, massive, massive win for the Rays. So let's get to some comments. And you guys are new here, comment. I want to interact with as much of you guys as possible. I see a lot of people in the comments. Shout out Dave Wright. Shout out all my family that's in here. But we're going to get to something that I agree with from the Iceman. Caballero should play every day. He is absolutely right. He needs to be playing over Taylor Walls at short. And the glove, Taylor Walls is one of the better defensive shortstops in the MLB. I agree with that. But did you see that double play that Cabby made in the first inning? There is almost little to no drop off at all from the glove of Cabby to the glove of Taylor Walls. So whether it's in a corner outfield spot, which he's been fantastic in, I 100% agree with you. There's no reason why Cabby shouldn't be in the lineup, and I can guarantee you he'll be in the lineup again tomorrow because the Rays are playing a lefty. We have Creole Southpaw saying Jonathan Aranda is him. He is beyond him. He is awesome. And again, coming into this Yankee series, he was hitting over 400. So to see him, stats always come back to the median, right? We see it in basketball when a guy starts 4 for 5 from 3, unless he's Steph Curry, he's probably going to miss his next 2 shots and get back to that 40% range, 50% range. And when Aranda stepped up and was 0 for 4, you just knew it was time. And it was time for him to make a big swing. And you just knew it was coming. Again, from Southpaw, glad how the game ended for Chandler Simpson's debut. I 100% agree. My mom is Chandler Simpson's good luck charm. She came to the room right when he stepped up and immediately blasted that hit. And I kind of said in the open, every at bat for him, he got a little bit more comfortable. I thought he obviously had that one really bad strikeout where the ball wasn't even near it and he swung and missed it. But this is a guy that Eric Neander already said, you're going to get more and more. He's going to get a long runway. And the longer runway he gets, the more complete of a player he's going to be. And with his kind of speed, you just know what he's going to produce if he can get on base. We have Tanner Starrett saying, thoughts on Christopher Morel? Christopher Morel started the season fantastic, but his K rate the last, I believe it was 8 games, is near 50%. And in the first half of the season, when he was hitting over 300 and playing really good baseball, he wasn't striking out at that rate. And the fact that he is now is really concerning for me. He'll probably be in the lineup tomorrow against Max Fried. So I expect him to hopefully have a bounce back, or at least just put bat on ball. And I know Tanner's a Cubs fan, so he knows all too well with Christopher Morel. His biggest problem is the strikeout. If we can get Christopher Morel hitting 250 with under a 30% K rate, the Rays will take that every day of the week. We got time for a few more here. Again, to Southpaw. The less we see Taylor Walls at bat, the more wins we get. I do agree with this. There's a stat, and you kind of start to feel bad for Walls at the point because it's like, man, he's always going up with people on base. He stranded his last 11 batters on base during the stretch where the Rays had all their bases loaded and whatnot. So it was time for Cash to get him out of the lineup. And again, it's not like Taylor Walls should never play again, but I think he should play every third day, kind of like Cabby was coming into this game. So if there's any more comments you guys have, send them in. We'll get to them. And again, I will be here after every single Rays game for the rest of the season. I want to interact with you guys as much as possible and build kind of a community with this Rays Postcast. And the last comment we'll get to is Southpaw again, and he's right with the home runs, but the wins, I don't know if you guys were watching the broadcast. The wins in Steinbrenner are so weird, but we know when Morel gets hot, he is very, very difficult to stop. So there's only a matter of time. I mean, look, he was one of the best young players for the Cubs. He was one of the better players. There's a reason why the Rays wanted him, right? There's a reason why the Rays traded Isak, and he was the main piece in it. So I think he's going to figure it out, but I think he's virtually unplayable if he's striking out at that rate because he's not putting bat on ball. Now, the home runs will come, and I think he's a 25 home run guy. It's just, when's he going to come? Is he going to have a 12-game stretch where he has 7 home runs or 6 home runs? And right now, his 12-game stretch is really bad. He has a 50% K rate. He's won for his last 17, but I hope he can figure it out tomorrow. Speaking of tomorrow, let's preview tomorrow. Tomorrow, the Rays will send Ryan Pepio to the mound on Easter Sunday against Max Fried, the Yankees ace, now that Garrett Cole is out for the season. So, with that being said, the Rays need this one, right? They need this one to split the series, end the homestand on a high note, and just to get back on track, get back to their winning ways, and start to fight back, because you can't lose a division, or you can't win a division before May, but you sure can lose it. And with a division as stacked as the AL East, you sure can lose it. So if you guys made it all the way to the end, make sure to like, subscribe, comment, and we will see you guys tomorrow, as I will be here every day for the rest of the year.